Hey, everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And you know the drill by now. We've got the full crew in the house once again, John, Randall, and I, for a little bit of video games chit-chat coming up in just a little bit, after I rattle off some of the stuff that I've been playing. As for some of the conversation that we get into after that, we talk a little Wii U, a little Ouya, Randall and John kind of reminiscing about some of the games they had on that console way back in the day, and even Randall busting out the controller for a quick second. We talk a little WiiWare, a little virtual console. Randall digs into I shouldn't say digs into, but talks a little Xbox 360. We talk about those old Blade menus. And Randall recently got his 360 hooked back up for like playing Rock Band, Beatles Rock Band in particular, and other various peripheral focus games. We talk a little Nier Replicant and Drakengard at the very, very end. But yeah, just kind of all over the map, little chit-chat, little episode coordinating for the, episode proper that we were getting ready to record during that session. But yeah, as for some of the stuff that I've been playing lately, I've been doing a whole bunch of gaming over this last week, mostly because this summer has been so busy for me. I've just had like a bunch of weddings, a bunch of trips out of town, which has been awesome. Everything I've been doing this summer has been a ton of fun. But on the other hand, I haven't had as much time to do like streams and videos and do recordings and, keep up with all the new things that are coming out and whatnot. So I've been over this last week kind of catching back up a little bit. I still have a little more catching up to do, but I've been knocking out a whole bunch of videos, both indie and retro, mostly indie stuff over these last couple sessions. And yeah, I guess I'll highlight a few of those here right now. One game that I wasn't even aware that was getting released anytime soon, although it was a game that I've been following for quite some time. It's a game called Ouya. And that's just O. The first O is capitalized with like a little, I think, the two dots. I think it's an umlaut on top. I'm not 100% sure on my letters or whatever from other languages. But nonetheless, when the game kind of starts, it has like a short little kind of intro sequence that you play through, and then it does kind of say like, ooh, so I think that's the name of the game. But it's an awesome game from the follow-up game from the developer of Head. And in a very similar vein, like it's got a kind of different pixel art style to it, but it's like this all interconnected map. I've only played maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes so far. But yeah, it's kind of like a mini Metroidvania puzzle platformer with definitely some precision going on as well. Very similar to Head, just on like the, challenge level and everything like that. And even just the overall presentation with like no real words in the game or anything like that. It'll just show you occasionally like a little sign or something or a little bubble in this case that'll like show you what button to press to do a new ability that you unlocked, or at the very beginning of the game just to start like moving. But basically it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer in like I don't know if it's like a mini Metroidvania in the sense of like how many new abilities you're gonna get, but the main thing is like you're like this little bomb caterpillar that's made up of like when you start out you're just like one little caterpillar head, but then you pick up one bomb that kind of adds to your body, and it's like almost like a little snake tail or trail behind you, and then you can lay that bomb anywhere. And if you're, for example, when you press the button to lay the bomb, your character will end up right on top of it. And if you just stay there, you can press another button to detonate the bomb and it'll launch you upwards. So that's kind of how you do jump, to get up to higher platforms. And then you can also, after you drop the bomb, you can get off of the bomb on either side, just walk off the edge of it. And then you can press the detonate button if you're standing right next to it and have it launch you over, almost an entire screen. And get across a spike gap or something like that. But even already in the first like 30 minutes of the game, or however far I played on recording this video, I've already got stumped like 2 or 3 different times. Actually, at the end of the video, somebody started like weed whacking outside, and I was like half like, maybe I should redo this. But I kind of was like, I like, in the video, like getting stumped a couple times and showing like even how in the early going, I'm hitting some, not walls, but I'm definitely running into some tricky and clever puzzle solving. And I just feel like they're really going to see, just like with the Head, they're going to see like this kind of one singular mechanic and then like expand upon that. And the level design is just absolutely top notch. And I'm loving the music, loving the pixel art, and also loving the fact that this game was co-published in like kind of a roundabout way by PUNKCAKE Délicieux, who I'm just like a giant fan of. So I'm subscribed to their Patreon, and this game was just included with that. Along with 10S Forever, which I mentioned a while back that they released as like kind of their first guest developed game through their platform or whatever you want to call it. But that was also included with the Patreon subscription as well, 10S Forever, that is. And this is a game that's like kind of like a breakout Pong, inspired game, but it's spelled like the letter, or the numbers, I should say, the 10 as in 10, and then the letter S, and then the word forever. So it's like a tennis game, that's a little cute little play on words or whatever you want to call it there. But I really love the original 10S, which is very similar in gameplay, but it has like more of like it's still pixel art and everything in 2D, but it's in like a pseudo 3D aesthetic. Like it has this over the shoulder kind of camera, where 10S Forever kind of feels like it's more, there's more detail to the pixel art in a way, but it almost feels like it's more retro in a way, because it is going with that kind of top down, true, just traditional 2D tennis game aesthetic. But it also gets a lot crazier. And basically, you just have enemies on the other side of the screen, and you're just trying to, hit the balls into them a number of times. And then they start, as you hit them more times and as your like kind of combo meter goes up, the enemies start getting more challenging and throwing more different bullets at you. But there'll be kind of like almost like Cuphead. There'll be like one projectile once in a while that's like a little more filled in than the regular ones, and you can swipe at that one. You can actually swipe at all of them and just kind of knock them out of the way with your racket. Not knock them out of the way, just clear them out of the way. It kind of just swipes them off the screen. But if it's one of those different colored ones, you can hit those and kind of like quote unquote parry them, and then have that turn into an extra ball to help you keep your combo going. So even if you miss your original ball, if you're able to keep this other one in play at the same time, you can keep that combo meter going, because every time you get a combo of 10 hits in a row, you get an extra like hit point back or whatever. I think you get like 3 or 4 hit points total. But yeah, this game's just super addicting. It can get, in any, true breakout game fashion, it can get a little bit frustrating to hit like that last enemy or that last box on the screen. You have a little bit more finesse with the racket, because you're controlling like an actual character, and then the actual angle of your swing is what's dictating the angle of the shot. So you can, you're not just waiting to hit that perfect paddle shot on like the very edge. You can kind of like finesse it a little bit more, although I will say that finessing takes a little bit of getting used to. But I'm definitely just having a blast with both of these games. So cool to see PUNKCAKE branching out and, publishing some games that aren't developed directly by them. But presumably, I'm assuming both Ouya and 10S Forever, especially 10S Forever, has been in development for forever, it seems like. So it's just so cool that, whatever PUNKCAKE was able to do to help facilitate getting these games released on Steam, I'm just really pumped to have them in my collection, and really excited to see what PUNKCAKE does for the rest of this year, because I know they're trying to get a game out every month once again, and I'm assuming getting some guests involved in the mix is what's helping them do that. And then the other game I wanted to give just a quick shout out to, which is coming out on Halloween. I checked out the demo for Mina the Hollower. This is the new game coming out from Yacht Club Games, the folks that made Shovel Knight, which honestly, Shovel Knight and all of those campaigns, I think probably King Knight in particular, someone on our YouTube channel actually just asked on one of our random Shovel Knight videos what my favorite campaign was, and I need to reply to that, but I immediately was like, okay, I think King Knight is the one, because I just find that game, like the move set, there's the feel. I'm going into my favorite Shovel Knight game here before I even get into Mina the Hollower, but yeah, I just find the move set on King Knight's campaign, or just playing as that character, just to be so satisfying, and the campaign just felt a little bit beefier and longer than some of the other ones. I just really got, maybe it was just the fact that it was kind of capping off that Shovel Knight treasure trove collection, but I really found that game to be an absolute blast and like a great way to cap off that series. But yeah, with Mina the Hollower, this is like more of like a top-down, kind of Zelda style for lack of a comparison, and more of like a Game Boy Color aesthetic as opposed to the NES 8-bit era of pixel art. But it definitely is like, doing way more just like Shovel Knight than what the Game Boy Color could have ever done. But at the same time, it definitely feels like it's staying pretty true to like the color palettes and the number of colors maybe on screen, or just like the way that characters, they're not overly detailed or shaded or animated or anything like that. But at the same time, you can definitely tell, okay, this definitely would not have run on my, Game Boy Color for a multitude of reasons. But to the actual gameplay, I was a little bit surprised, at least from the demo here. I played through the whole thing. And it's kind of almost feels like, I can't really tell, but I was picturing it was going to be like one giant, Zelda map all interconnected. But I kind of got a little bit of an impression that it might be a few, a handful or however many individual levels that are, smaller, bigger maps that are, interconnected in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I'm hoping that it's a little more level driven because I just tend to, lean towards a more linear experience just for my preference. I tend to get through the game or at least see more of it. Whereas if it's like a Metroidvania or something with a lot of exploration, I can just get lost and get sidetracked and just get so easily, have my attention be pulled to a different game. And if I'm stuck, if I'm stuck when I'm playing a game and then I pick it up and play it again and I don't make any more progress, I'm probably never going to pick up that game again, at least not for years and years. Because there's so many other things that I want to play and need to play. And I don't know why I enunciated that so weird, but nonetheless, Mina the Hollower, I wasn't quite expecting to get my butt kicked so hard. I mean, it's not too difficult, being that this is the demo and I'm assuming the early stages of the game, but I was definitely like, okay, I wasn't prepared for this combat to be like, I was expecting it to be a little bit more puzzle driven, like a old school Zelda game, and it seems like it's leaning a little bit more into the action, and you got 3 different weapons that you can pick from right off the bat. That I don't believe you can switch to at any point later in the game, but you got like 2 daggers that you can pick from that you kind of use in tandem. And then you have like kind of like a mace on a chain, which is the thing that I picked. And then you also have like a hammer, but you can try them all out real quick in like the starting area. And then it just gets right into the action. You're like on this ship, you get attacked by some kind of kraken or something. And it's kind of like a scripted boss battle right as you get down to like the bottom of your health. It kind of ends, the Kraken runs away, and you get a quick minute to kind of regroup, and then it teaches you how to heal. So it kind of has a little bit of that Dark Souls element to the combat, like there's bonfires you get to. So that's what makes me think it is going to be one big, giant interconnected map for like the checkpoints. You get to like a bonfire, and then all the enemies respawn after you die and stuff like that. And I think you have to recollect things that you leave behind, although I couldn't fully understand how that mechanic worked, but just from the little bit I was reading online even as well, I heard a lot of people like comparing it to like the Souls-like combat and stuff like that. So I think I'll probably leave it here for the video game rambling. I've been doing a little bit more gaming beyond, the few games I listed off here. I've been getting a little bit back into playing stuff on like Itch and playing some Game Jam entries from our pal Sir Milkman and from Sarn or Saturn Yoshi. So I'll maybe save some of those for next go around or next saver for the cast, but you'll definitely see some videos coming from some of that stuff soon. Even some Game Jam stuff. I think I might have already said that, but some stuff from like our Game Jam, the Pursuing Pixels, James Jam, Game Jam. Some of my favorites from those I've been revisiting. So yeah, looking forward to getting some more videos, getting back on that train. It's just been fun to dive into some of these smaller indie games again. And yeah. On that note, I'll kick it over to Randall, John, and I for a little more video games chit-chat. And until next week, we'll catch you then, and take care.
The Wii U triggered my brain. I remember, John, you had attempted to hook up your Ouya a while back, yes?
I mean, I found my Ouya. I don't think I have tried booting that thing up in years.
Okay, yeah, because
I was wondering if it would even work.
Well, mine does, but there's a whole thing where unless you got this like firmware by still having your Ouya hooked up, I think before like the server shit went down, that it like won't go past the network authentication sort of screen.
Sweet.
Like to let you into the core menu of the Ouya where your games would be. But there's workarounds, but it's like you have to like trick your router into like go to this very specific IP address after doing this and that, and then go down and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, because I'm like,
is it worth it?
No.
Yeah, what do you have on the Ouya that wouldn't be accessible?
I got this one like PUNKCAKE game that was okay that I remember. I don't know what it
I had a bunch
Towerfall?
of like,
did you have Towerfall?
Oh yeah, we had Towerfall. So. Everybody had Towerfall. Come on.
I don't know if I had Towerfall or not. I don't remember if I bought it on that.
I obviously didn't.
I mean, I have the demos for everything. That was the thing. I have like all of Terry Kavanagh's back catalog on it.
Hell yeah.
But like, yeah, I had a ton of demos of stuff that like really did feel like of the time. It was like, this is not a complete game, but they took everyone and anyone, and there were no barriers to entry.
No,
good old Terry.
I got my controller sitting right here. I'm still trying to fuck around with setting this thing up. I
kind of like that controller. I like that color,
limited edition bronze that you got when you.
It looks rose gold with the lighting.
It does. Yeah.
I even like that form factor, though. At least like looking at it, I don't know how it feels in your hand, but it looks like a nice feel.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
These in particular feel bad.
Oh, really? Yeah. They look kind of cool.
They have some really odd.
It's an interesting angle. Like in the way that like when you pick up a GameCube controller at first glance, you're like, this feels weird, but then like you get used to it. I don't think you ever really get used to an Ouya.
No, it doesn't mold to your hand like a GameCube controller does.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like, what's the value? Like, I'm gonna sell this fucking thing. Like,
no.
What's anyone gonna give me money for this thing at this point? So I'm
comes
gonna
in
try to hook it up.
Really nice packaging for like the size of it. Like I have the original packaging, and it's like it takes up less than a shoebox. Like it is tiny, and I'll like take it with me forever. And like after I die, someone's gonna look at it and be like, what the fuck is this?
So who knows, someday it might be some weird rare oddity that everyone got rid of because it was discontinued, and then everyone's gonna be like, man, remember the Ouya?
The history of
gotta get my hands on one of those,
after society collapses and they're looking for Android like architecture to like
parts,
desalinate water with, and like cracking open Ouyas.
Wally style, yeah.
Yeah.
We ran out of the retro pies. What else can we do?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was trying to think of what those are called.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Power plant of Ouyas.
Someone sold a bronze limited edition Ouya with 2 controllers for $40. That happened, so.
You hang on to that thing, man. How much was the Ouya when it came out? Like $250?
More than that.
No, I think it was $99.
I think it was. Yeah, it was $100.
Really? Oh man!
And then I got 4 controllers because I'm a sicko, and you had to get the limited controllers then if you're going to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I think that's exactly why I got it. Was because I was a poor. Maybe I think I still got it in college, or maybe just out of college, but like I didn't have enough money to get a new system. But I sure had $100.
Yeah. This would have been like 2011, 2012 sort of territory. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That would have been right when I was like buying all my WiiWare games and virtual console games and stuff like that.
So I'm going to try to hook it up. Yeah. I'm going to do the sicko thing. Not that I have any time for that, but I'm just very curious.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's curious.
Sometimes it just feels fun to like, see like even just like the menu screen and like, just...
Same thing
I actually
with like
plugged
your
in my
old
360
Xbox
the other day.
Seeing like what
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I plugged in the 3. That's how I found it. I was like, oh, it's locked. That's how I like figured out which one, because I thought I remembered the password or another password that I might have used, and it didn't work. So I was about to give up, and I was like, oh, but it like sent me this link to where I can like try to reset it. So I was like, I'll at least try, and then it worked. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to like fire up the 360 again
and
see those. I don't even know. No, they don't. I think they got rid of the blades. Remember the blade menus?
It's still it's not the blade menu anymore, no, but I got my 360 more similar up again too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the reason for it? Just to have an Xbox hooked up in like the retro room?
I have some very specific like Street Fighter controllers that I bought at that time that are like 360 compatible, of course. And then
I know which ones you're talking about too. Yeah.
Yep. And then besides that, like Rock Band and Beatles Rock Band, like that sort of stuff is kind of locked to that platform.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other things that are like that. And, I'm also hoping that there's some better like original Xbox compatibility stuff in case it doesn't work with the Series X sort of modern platform stuff. So there's enough use cases around the edges to hook up that guy with my Viva Pinata faceplate and let her rip,
Nice. Yeah. The one thing that my 360, like it still turned on and worked and everything, but I couldn't get the disk drive to open.
Oh.
Which I remember there being like a weird way that you could like push like a paper clip or something in to like manually eject it. I remember having to do that before.
Jeez.
But I didn't bother with it too much because I don't think I even have any 360 games anymore physically.
Did you hear any like whining of like the PSU, like the where the power was with a power brick? Did that make any kind of weird electronic whining noise?
Not that I noticed. Not that I noticed. But I wasn't paying. I wasn't paying full attention, but
gotcha.
I didn't particularly notice it. Yeah. Usually my ears pick up on that kind of stuff pretty easily.
Thank you all for that tangent.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Good. Got a full episode in here. What order do we want to chat about stuff in tonight? / what do we want to talk about? John, how does your Nier situation feel?
I'm going to talk a little bit about Nier, but mostly about fishing.
Okay. Does it feel more like a closer, more like a sandwich, more like a opener?
No idea.
No difference. I guess we could lead with like
probably
the UFO 50 right? stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like what were we going to say?
I said UFO 50, but I talked over you, so I couldn't hear exactly what you said.
I was saying the same thing. Yeah, okay. UFO 50. I was saying we could lead with that since it's like newer, or we could put it wherever. I don't know.
UFO 50.
Like we definitely.
Yeah, let's do that.
You think lead with the 50?
Yeah, because it's revisiting something we haven't talked about before.
Yeah, it's kind of double whammy. Like we do a lot of new releases at the front, and we do a lot of revisiting at the front, so that's perfect. Do we feel like we need any padding between that and Nier? Because I could definitely just talk. We could like talk a little of that Shinobi demo if we wanted to, or I could talk a little Bloodstained Curse of the Moon or something if we wanted to.
Why don't we talk the Shinobi demo a little bit? It's kind of fresh of mind. Like I don't think I'm probably not gonna boot that again, to be honest, because I already pre-ordered the actual game and I know that I'm happy with my decision for that. So
yeah. We could even lead with that if we wanted to.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
and then go into UFO 50,
UFO,
and then end with a little Nier Replicant. You said is the one you're playing.
Hold on one second. It's let's get this.
I think it is.
Yeah, what's that full title?
Let's get this full title.
Oh yeah, it's like Nier Replicant version 1.4627468.
Yeah. No. It's Nier Replicant version 1224744871139.
I love it.
Which is a remake of Nier Gestalt, which was the American. Well, it's a remake actually of the Nier Replicant, the original version, because Nier Gestalt was the version that was released in America, where they replaced the young boy protagonist with an old man. Because
go ahead.
No, I don't know. Like America's weird.
Nier Automata is one of the games that came up too when I was talking to that guy at my friend's wife's birthday party. Mm-hmm. We were talking about Nier Automata, and then we were talking about how you have to like beat the game like however many times to like get the true ending.
Yep.
And then apparently and then we started talking about Drakengard because I had just discovered that those games are like in the same series, and then do you guys know anything about those games?
Not really.
No. Drakengard?
Yeah.
No.
Like apparently like he was telling me about the one, he's like literally the whole entire game takes place in like, medieval fantasy settings, whatever. He's like, and then you get the good ending or whatever, and you I can't remember what he said you do, and then he's like literally then just like a fighter jet just comes flying out of the sky and just blows you away, and the game ends, and he's like, it is, and then all of a sudden you're in like an apocalyptic New York City in modern times, and he's like, it's the weirdest. I don't know. It had me very intrigued.
I'm going to check save that for the cast.
Are you familiar with those?
No, but let's say that there's some parallels in Nier to that tonal shift.
Okay, interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was cracking up. It made me. He was trying to tell me how terrible it was, and I was like, he's not realizing that he's really making me want to play.
Yeah,
or at least watch like a playthrough or a cutscene.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Nier, step aside. Drakengard, come on over. But it did make me want to play those. I kind of forgot that Nier
I think you like play as like a different character every time when you like come back. I don't think I realized that. I thought you just like replayed the game again,
which is
sweet.
Why, as we were talking about last time, is just that game ripping off Mother 3, which is...
One day.
I still need to play that more than like 5 seconds. I did download the thing one time and check it out for like a second. I think it was like because sometimes I would download like the actual ROM hack and like do the patching of it myself.
Yep.
But I think that one I remember like I downloaded, it was like pre-patched, and all ready to go for me. Mm-hmm. But I played it for a second and thought it looked really cool, sounded really cool, but just didn't really play it for more than a minute.
Should we clap?
Because obviously I'm just holding down the run button at all times.
Of course.
It was always so. I remember listening to Idle Thumbs, one of the episodes, and like way back, and like the guy that I tend to like gel with the most with his taste, Chris Remo. He was like talking about Mario one time, and he's like, I don't know why, but he's like, for whatever reason, I just always felt like growing up, like if I wasn't holding down the run button, I just wasn't playing Mario correctly. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know why, but that's exactly how I feel. Like I just have to hold down that button at all times, no matter how slow I'm going. Like that's I never let go of that button.
Yep. You got.
It's almost like to the point where like,
yep.
It's almost to the point where like when I'm playing stuff like The Messenger, it's like kind of hard for me to play because I'm like, you have to like. That whole game is like based around the mechanic of like you do a slash with like in Mario the run button and then jump with the jump button. It's like my thumb is just not really programmed to do that in that way.
Yeah,
it's programmed to go the other way or something. It's just like it. I tend to just like button mash in the Messenger. I do like some hacky jumps in that game. That game is awesome though.
Still never really given that game a shot. It came out at a weird time and I've just never gone around to getting back to it.
I will go so far as to say the first 2 hours of that game are pretty much as perfect as you can possibly make a video game in that style. Like it is so fluid and streamlined. Like every second so far I've just been like, this is awesome. And I know exactly where I'm going. I never get lost. Although I don't like it, none of the exploration elements have really opened up. It's just kind of like streaming you through the first chunk of the game.
Yeah.
But man, it is awesome. I keep forgetting that I'm not even playing the 16-bit stuff yet.
Right.
Like I'm only looking at the 8-bit stuff.
Right, until it like flips over, which is such a cool conceit. And that's always been a reason why I'm like, I do need to play that at some point.